Welcome to Cool Talk, reminiscing about my top 200 favorite movies. Now, these are not the greatest movies of all time. These are the films that I can see over and over. My personal favorites. Let's start. Requiem for a Dream by director Darren Aronofsky. Artistically and technically, one of the best films I've ever seen. And it would be higher on my list if it weren't so depressing. I mean, the last 20 minutes are traumatizing. But it stayed with me and I have seen it again. The tragedy here is how lonely people chase their dreams and lose control. Jennifer Connelly and Jared Leto are fixated on each other, but they turn to heroin dealing for quick money. But habits become compulsions. They become obsessions, then addiction. And then there's 70-year-old Ellen Burstyn. She's heartbreaking as a lonely old lady addicted to diet pills. Great acting with a haunting musical score. It's a harrowing, relentless nightmare, but great nonetheless. Sankey Panky. Now this is a messy, clumsily directed movie, very sloppy, but every time I watch it, I laugh at the same jokes every single time. It's in Spanish, so subtitles may not do it justice, but man, these guys are funny. The Mission, a true story taking place in 15th century Brazil. Jesuit priests go preaching to the Guarani natives. Now the priests and the natives are caught in a power game between the superpowers of Spain and Portugal. Now Robert De Niro is miscast and the film is slow, but there is passion in the images and a memorable composition by Ennio Morricone. Catch it. In the film Modern Times, Charlie Chaplin plays a little tramp, exposing how industrial greed squeezes the working man into despair. Driven insane by monotony and a big brother-like atmosphere, the little tramp finds love in a street girl played by his wife Paulette Goddard. Together they try to beat the odds. They never do, but unbowed, they decide to press on together. Now this is a real treasure. Chaplin was a pioneer of cinema. Parenthood with Steve Martin. 4 sets of parents doing the best they can to raise their families and often failing. Warm, sad, but heartwarming. Now, my favorite parts was with the old man Jason Robards. He plays the old father who states that, "Damn it, this parenting thing never ends." But the real wisdom comes from Grandma, who smiles and says that life is not a merry-go-round. It's a roller coaster, so enjoy the ride. City Lights, Charlie Chaplin again. This time, Chaplin falls in love with a blind flower girl who thinks he's a millionaire, and Chaplin does everything he can to raise money so she can have her eyesight restored. Well, he does, but when she realizes who he is, well, it's a tearjerker. Now, the ending is open, but what's touching is how the tramp is happy no matter what she decides to do. A Shock to the System, a little-known gem from 1990. Michael Caine plays a middle-aged man who is being pushed into retirement at work. His wife sees him as a failure. Because of this, so unappreciated, filled with anger and resentment, he decides to force his way up the corporate ladder even if he has to kill somebody. Literally. Now Michael Caine is superb. He's a joy to watch and you root for him even when you know you shouldn't. He's not a nice guy, but you won't forget him. Gandhi, director Richard Attenborough's love project, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. And Ben Kingsley is superb in an astonishing performance. If you like epic films with crowds of thousands, just think, 300,000 Hindus showed up to film the scene of Gandhi's funeral. This is one of the best biopics that you will ever see. It is masterful. Now, what can I say? Just catch it. Vertigo, director Alfred Hitchcock's masterpiece, where James Stewart finds love, then loss, madness, and then obsession in trying to regain something he cannot have. The film manipulates the viewer and is fascinating and intriguing. Now, the ending feels a little anticlimactic because of this, but the ride is worth it. There's a frenetic intensity to James Stewart's character and a strange fetish to his passion, as if Hitchcock is warning us of the dangers of unbridled desire. Watch it. Psycho. Now, what can I say that has not already been said? But if you haven't seen this film, catch it. There's an underlying perversion to all of this. There's an Oedipus undertone, but there's an excitement and a suspense that's still palpable 50 years later. This is one of the original slasher films, and Hitchcock makes us voyeurs in more ways than one. A psychological thriller that's almost flawless in its execution. One of his masterpieces. So what do you think? Comment below or continue watching on my next video for the next 10 films. This is Cool Talk.